Close your eyes for 3 seconds. Take one deep breath. Now ask yourself, do I feel different from everyone around me? Like I don't quite belong here anymore? If you felt something shift when you read that, a recognition, a pull, something you can't quite name, you're about to understand why. Because what you're experiencing right now isn't anxiety, it isn't stress, it isn't something wrong with you. It's your soul remembering. And once you understand what's actually happening, there's no going back. Her name was Dolores Cannon. Born in 1931 in St. Louis, Missouri. Died in 2014. Spent 45 years uncovering something that changes everything we think we know about reality. She didn't start out searching for any of this. She was a Navy wife in the 1950s. 4 kids. Normal life. Nothing mystical or strange about her. She traveled the world with her husband, lived in different places, raised her family. By all accounts, she was living an ordinary, conventional life. No one who knew her then would have predicted what was coming. Then one night in 1968, a doctor asked her to help with a simple hypnosis case. Just a routine regression therapy session. Nothing unusual. Dolores had learned basic hypnosis techniques alongside her husband, and they occasionally helped out with these kinds of sessions. It was supposed to be straightforward. But when Dolores put the woman under hypnosis, something impossible happened. The woman started speaking in voices that weren't hers, describing lives she'd never lived, revealing knowledge she couldn't possibly have, speaking about places she'd never been, sharing wisdom that seemed to come from somewhere beyond time itself. The voice changed, the energy in the room changed, something had opened up that couldn't be closed again. In that moment, Dolores discovered a doorway, a way to access something humanity had forgotten, a connection to a deeper level of consciousness that held answers to questions people had been asking for thousands of years. For the next 45 years, she conducted thousands upon thousands of hypnosis sessions. She developed her own method called quantum healing hypnosis therapy. She refined her technique, learned to ask the right questions, discovered how to access what she called the subconscious, the highest, wisest part of ourselves that is directly connected to Source. And through all those sessions, through all those people, through decades of patient, meticulous research, she discovered something that will change how you see yourself forever. You are not who you think you are, and neither is the world around you. Here's what Dolores found through thousands of sessions, through countless souls telling the same story in different words, using different imagery but always pointing to the same truth. Right now, Earth is going through the biggest transformation in its entire history. A shift so massive, so fundamental, it's changing everything. Not just the planet. You, your body, your mind, your consciousness itself, your DNA, your cells, the very fabric of what you think of as reality. This isn't slow evolution. This is rapid transformation. And it's happening right now, in your lifetime, in this generation. And if you're reading this, if something pulled you here, if these words feel strangely familiar, if you have that weird sense of recognition like you've known this all along but forgot it, Dolores would tell you something specific. You're one of the volunteers. Let me explain what that means. According to Dolores's research, spanning decades and thousands of sessions with people from all walks of life, all backgrounds, all belief systems, there are 3 waves of souls who chose to come to Earth specifically for this moment. These aren't ordinary souls going through the normal cycle of reincarnation. These are beings who volunteered to incarnate here, to take on human form during this critical time, to help humanity through this transformation. They came from higher dimensions, from places where suffering doesn't exist, from realms of pure light and consciousness. And they chose to come here, to this dense, difficult, painful reality, because Earth needed them. The first wave came in the 1940s and 50s. They're in their 70s and 80s now, if they're still here. They had the hardest time of all. They felt completely alien here, like they'd been dropped onto a foreign planet where nothing made sense. Many struggled with deep, crushing depression, feeling like they didn't belong anywhere, desperately wanting to go home, but not knowing where home was. They looked at the sky at night and felt homesick for stars they couldn't name. They broke ground. They opened the energetic pathways. They suffered tremendously so the others wouldn't have to go through what they went through. The second wave arrived in the 1960s and 1970s. They came as lights in the darkness, as beacons for others to find. Many became healers, teachers, artists, truth seekers, those who questioned everything and pushed boundaries. They had an easier time than the first wave, but they still felt the crushing weight of being different in a world that didn't understand them. They felt the loneliness, the isolation, the sense that they were speaking a language no one else could hear. They built the bridges. They created the pathways. They held the light, even when the darkness felt overwhelming. The third wave started coming in and continues today. These are the children and young adults who arrived with their abilities already activated, their memories more intact, connection to source more direct, naturally intuitive, naturally connected, naturally awake. They don't need to work as hard to remember because they never fully forgot. They came in with fewer veils, less programming, more direct access to their true nature. If you're reading this, you're likely part of one of these waves. Your soul knows which one. You might even feel it as you read these descriptions. And everything you thought was wrong with you, your weirdness, your sensitivity, your feeling of not fitting in, your struggle to understand why everyone else seems content with things that feel hollow to you. It was never a problem. It was your mission. It was proof that you were different, because you came here to be different. You came here to be the change. You came here to hold a frequency that this planet desperately needed. Dolores identified specific signs through her extensive work. Signs that prove you've already awakened. Signs that show there's no going back to who you used to be. Sign 1. You hear the frequency. This is the big one. The sign that confirms everything. A high-pitched ringing in your ears. Sometimes it's constant. Sometimes it comes and goes. Sometimes it's louder in one ear than the other. Doctors call it tinnitus and try to fix it with treatments and medications. But you know it's not a medical problem. You know it's something else entirely. Dolores said this is the frequency of the new earth. Your soul tuning into higher dimensions. Your cells vibrating at a different rate than they used to. You're literally becoming less dense, more light, more energy. Your physical body is changing at a molecular level to match the frequency you came here to hold. If you hear this frequency, especially in your right ear, it means your higher self is downloading information. You're receiving upgrades to your consciousness. Your DNA is activating strands that have been dormant for lifetimes. You're being prepared for what's coming. Your body is being rewired to handle higher frequencies of light and information. This isn't something to fix. It's something to recognize and honor. It's your confirmation that the process is working, that you're changing, that you're becoming what you came here to become. Sign 2. Time feels completely different. Days feel like hours. Weeks fly by like days used to. Years fly by in what feels like months. You can't believe it's already the end of the year again. Where did the time go? How is it already December? How are your kids already that old? How has so much time passed when it feels like it was just yesterday? Dolores explained this phenomenon clearly. As you move closer to the new Earth frequency, as your vibration rises, your perception of time changes, because time itself is collapsing. Linear time is dissolving. The rigid, the structure of past, present, and future, is becoming more fluid. In the higher dimensions where you're heading, time doesn't exist the way it does here. There's only the eternal now. So your experience of time accelerating, of it speeding up beyond what feels normal, is proof that you're already vibrating at a higher frequency than the collective. You're living in two realities at once. 1 foot in the old 3-dimensional Earth where time is linear, 1 foot in the new 5-dimensional Earth where time is fluid. Your consciousness is literally straddling 2 different dimensional realities. And it's exhausting, because you're trying to operate in a time-bound world while your consciousness is expanding beyond time. You're trying to keep appointments and meet deadlines while your soul is experiencing something completely different. Sign 3. You're losing interest in the old world. Remember when you cared about celebrity gossip? When you followed fashion trends? When you cared deeply about what everyone thought of you? when accumulating more stuff, more status, more approval felt important and meaningful. Now you just don't care anymore. It all feels empty, meaningless, irrelevant, hollow. You look at people obsessing over things that used to matter to you and you feel nothing. Or maybe you feel sadness, compassion for them. But you can't go back to caring about those things no matter how hard you try. Dolores said this is one of the clearest signs of awakening. The things that used to matter, the ego-driven pursuits, the material obsessions, the need for validation from others, the competition, the status games, the endless accumulation, they all start feeling completely hollow. Because your soul remembers that none of that is real, none of that matters in the grand scheme of things. None of that is why you came here. You came for something so much deeper, so much more meaningful, so much more real. And once you remember that, even dimly, even partially, you can't go back to caring about the superficial. It's like trying to enjoy cartoons after you've experienced real life. It's like trying to play with toys after you've discovered genuine purpose. Sign 4. You feel alone. Even in a crowd, this one hurts. This is the sign that causes the most suffering for awakened souls. You can be surrounded by family, friends, loved ones, people who genuinely care about you, and feel devastatingly alone. Like nobody truly understands you. Like you're speaking a language nobody else speaks. Like there's a wall of glass between you and everyone else. You can see them, they can see you, but you can't truly reach each other. You try to explain what you're experiencing, and they look at you with concern, or confusion, or dismissal. They don't get it. They can't get it. Because they're not experiencing what you're experiencing. But here's what Dolores revealed. You're not alone. You're just operating at a different frequency than most people around you. And frequency determines reality. It determines what you can perceive, what you can experience, what resonates with you. It's like you're listening to a radio station that only a few people can tune into. Everyone else is on a completely different channel. They're hearing completely different music, different messages, different content. You can't hear their station anymore and they can't hear yours. This isolation isn't punishment. It's not a sign that something's wrong with you. It's confirmation. It's proof that you've moved beyond the collective unconsciousness of the sleeping masses. You've stepped out of the matrix. And once you step out, you can't relate to it the same way anymore. The good news? There are others on your frequency. You'll find them. They'll find you. Through synchronicity, through magnetic attraction, through the invisible threads that connect awakened souls across time and space. Sign 5. Synchronicities are everywhere, repeating numbers constantly. 111, 222, 333, 444, 555. They're everywhere you look. On clocks, on license plates, on receipts, on signs. You can't escape them. You think of someone, and within minutes they call or text. You need an answer to a question and a book falls off a shelf with exactly what you needed to know. You hear the same message from 3 different sources in one day. You meet exactly the right person at exactly the right time. Doors open that shouldn't logically open. Things fall into place in ways that feel orchestrated. Dolores was absolutely clear about this. Synchronicities are the universe confirming you're on the right path. They're messages from your higher self saying, yes, you're remembering. Yes, you're on track. Keep going. You're not crazy. This is real. In her words, there are no coincidences. Everything is orchestrated by your soul. Every single thing that happens to you is divinely guided. The more you notice synchronicities, the more they appear. Because you're training yourself to see the patterns, to recognize the guidance, to trust the invisible hand that's been guiding you all along. Most people miss these signs completely. They're too busy, too distracted, too caught up in the noise. But you see them because you're awake, because you're paying attention, because your consciousness has expanded to include the invisible realm where all things are connected. Sign 6. You're drawn to ancient wisdom. Suddenly, seemingly out of nowhere, you're deeply interested in Egypt, Atlantis, Lemuria. Ancient civilizations that mainstream history dismisses or ignores. Mystical teachings, sacred geometry, hermeticism, mystery schools, esoteric knowledge. Why? Why this sudden intense pull toward the ancient and mysterious? Because according to Dolores, you were there. You lived in those times. You were part of those advanced civilizations. You walked in those temples. You studied those teachings. You held that knowledge. Your soul is remembering those lifetimes. Your interest isn't random. It's not a phase you'll grow out of. It's memory activation. It's your soul recognizing itself across time. When you see images of ancient Egypt, something stirs in you. When you read about Atlantis, it feels familiar. When you study sacred geometry, it makes sense in a way that goes beyond intellectual understanding. This is your soul saying, I remember this. I know this. I was here. And that memory is activating now because you need it. Because the wisdom you held then is needed now. Because the knowledge you carried in those lifetimes is meant to come forward in this lifetime. Sign 7. You question everything. You can't accept anything at face value anymore. The news feels like manipulation and lies. Religion feels incomplete and controlling, like it's hiding something important. Science feels limited and closed-minded, refusing to explore the most important questions. You're questioning reality itself, the nature of existence, what death really is, who you really are, why you're here, what this is all for, what consciousness is, what creates reality. Whether the physical world is really as solid as it appears. Dolores called this the awakening of discernment. You're no longer willing to be fed information without filtering it through your own inner knowing. You're no longer willing to accept someone else's truth as your truth. You're questioning authority, questioning systems, questioning structures that everyone else accepts without thought. Not because you're rebellious or contrary, but because those things don't resonate anymore. They don't feel true. They don't align with what your soul knows. You're becoming sovereign. You're reclaiming your power to discern truth from illusion, to know what's real and what's programming, to trust your own inner guidance above all external authorities. This makes you dangerous to the old systems, because awakened, sovereign beings can't be controlled, can't be manipulated, can't be fed lies and accept them as truth. Through thousands of sessions, through countless souls speaking through hypnosis, Dolores asked the same question over and over. Why are these souls here? What is their purpose? What is their mission? The answer came through again and again, in different words, but always the same core message. You came here to anchor the light. You came to hold the frequency of the new earth so others can find their way to it. You came to be a lighthouse in the storm, a beacon in the darkness, a living example of what's possible. You're not here to save anyone. You can't save anyone. That's not how this works. You're not here to convince anyone or convert anyone or force anyone to wake up. You're not here to prove anything to anyone or justify your truth to skeptics. You're here to be the frequency, to embody the love, to radiate the light, to hold the vibration. That's it. That's your entire mission. And here's the beautiful part. Just by existing at your higher frequency, you're affecting the collective consciousness of humanity. You're literally changing the vibration of the entire planet just by being here, just by breathing, just by being alive and present in your truth. Every time you choose love over fear, you create a ripple in the collective consciousness. Every time you choose peace over chaos, you create a wave of transformation. Every time you choose truth over illusion, you create a shift in the morphic field. You don't have to be famous or dramatic or grand. You don't have to be a guru or teacher or influencer or leader. You don't have to write books or give talks or build a following. Your very presence is changing the world. The light you carry affects everyone you encounter, even if they don't consciously recognize it. Even if they can't articulate it, your frequency impacts theirs. Your peace influences their peace. Your authenticity gives them permission to be authentic. You're doing more than you realize just by being you. Let me tell you what Dolores revealed about where we're all going, about what's actually happening on this planet right now. The new Earth isn't a physical place you travel to. You don't get on a spaceship and fly to another planet. You don't die and go to heaven. It's not somewhere else. It's a frequency you align with, a state of consciousness you embody, a reality you step into by raising your vibration. Right now, at this very moment, Earth is splitting into two distinct realities, two different vibrational worlds. Dolores called it the separation of worlds. One Earth remains in the old three-dimensional density: fear, control, suffering, limitation, separation, scarcity, competition, conflict, manipulation, pain. Those who choose to stay asleep, who choose to remain in fear, who choose to cling to the old paradigm, will remain in this reality, not as punishment, but as choice, as alignment with what they're holding in consciousness. The other Earth, the new Earth, exists in the fifth dimension. Love, freedom, joy, infinite possibility, unity, abundance, cooperation, harmony, truth, peace. This is where the awakened ones are heading. This is the reality that's being born right now. And here's the truth that might shock you, the truth that gives you back all your power. You get to choose which Earth you experience. It's not about being good enough, or spiritual enough, or worthy enough. It's not about doing enough rituals, or saying enough prayers, or meditating enough hours. It's purely about frequency, what you resonate with, what you choose in every moment, what you hold in your consciousness. If you resonate with fear and limitation, if you hold images of scarcity and suffering, if you stay in judgment and separation, you stay in the old Earth. Not because you're being punished, but because that's the frequency you're broadcasting. If you resonate with love and expansion, if you hold images of abundance and possibility, if you practice unity and compassion, you move to the new Earth, you align with it, you step into it, you experience it. And the beautiful part? It's already happening. You're already there. You're already experiencing glimpses of it. You just haven't fully realized it yet. Dolores said that in the coming years, people will start noticing something extraordinary. They'll realize they're living in completely different realities, even though they're walking on the same planet, sitting in the same room, looking at the same view. Some will see beauty, abundance, peace everywhere, synchronicities, open doors, helpful people, opportunities, grace, magic. Others will see chaos, scarcity, suffering everywhere, conflict, closed doors, obstacles, danger, fear. Same planet, different frequencies, different realities, different worlds. You're creating your reality with every thought, every belief, every image you hold. And the world is splitting based on what people are holding in consciousness. Once you've awakened, once you've heard that frequency, once you've felt that deep knowing in your soul, you can't unknow it. You can't unhear it. You can't unsee it. You can't unfeel it. You can't go back to sleep. Dolores compared it to remembering a forgotten memory. Once you remember, you can't force yourself to forget again. Once you see the truth, you can't pretend you don't see it. Once you know, you can't unknow. You might try to go back. You might desperately try to fit into the old world, to care about the old things, to be who you used to be, to play the games you used to play, to wear the masks you used to wear. But it will feel like wearing clothes 3 sizes too small, suffocating, painful, constricting, wrong on every level, because you've outgrown that version of reality. You've evolved past it. You've expanded beyond it. Your consciousness has grown too large to fit back into that small container. Trying to shrink yourself back down would be like asking a butterfly to crawl back into its cocoon, like asking an eagle to forget it has wings and live in a cage again, like asking a flower to close back up after it's bloomed. It's not possible. And even if it were possible, it would be a betrayal of your soul's journey. This is why you feel so uncomfortable now, why the old world doesn't fit anymore, why you feel like you're between two worlds, why nothing feels quite right, why you're restless, why you're searching, why you can't settle for what used to be enough. Because you are between two worlds. You're in the transition, the chrysalis stage, the dark night of the soul, the death of the old self before the birth of the new. You're neither who you were nor fully who you're becoming. And it's uncomfortable, it's disorienting, it's painful sometimes, but it's necessary, it's part of the process. It's how transformation works. You can't become the butterfly without the dissolution of the caterpillar. Dolores taught a specific practice to help awakened souls stay grounded during this intense transition. This isn't theory. This is practical guidance for navigating what you're experiencing. Here it is. Step 1. Connect daily. Every single morning, before you do anything else, before you check your phone, before you get out of bed, before the world rushes in, sit in silence for 5 minutes. Hand on your heart, eyes closed, 3 deep breaths. Say, I am one with my higher self. I am one with Source. I am light. I am love. I remember who I am. Feel those words. Don't just say them mechanically like a robot repeating a script. Feel the truth of them vibrating through every cell of your body. Feel them awakening your DNA. Feel them connecting you to Source. Feel them reminding you of your true nature. This daily practice anchors you. It reminds you who you really are before the world tells you who you should be. It sets your frequency for the day. Step 2. Ask for guidance. Throughout your day, whenever you feel confused or uncertain or lost, whenever you don't know what to do or which way to go, ask your higher self this simple question. What would you have me know right now? Then listen. Not with your ears, not with your mind, with your heart, with your gut, with your inner knowing. The answer will come. It might come as a feeling, an image, a sudden knowing, a synchronicity, a message from someone, a song on the radio, a sentence in a book, a whisper in your soul. It will come. Trust it, even if it doesn't make logical sense, even if it contradicts what everyone else is saying, even if it's not what you wanted to hear. Your higher self knows the path. Your job is to listen and trust. Step 3. Practice non-judgment. This is crucial. When you judge others for still being asleep, when you try to force them awake, when you get frustrated with them for not seeing what you see, you lower your own frequency dramatically. Remember, they're on their own journey. They're exactly where they need to be. They're learning exactly what they need to learn. Their timing is perfect for their soul's evolution. Your job is not to wake them up. That's not why you're here. That's not your responsibility. Their awakening is between them and their soul. Your job is to stay awake yourself, to hold your frequency, to be the light, to remain in your truth without needing others to validate it or join you in it. When you stop judging and start accepting, your frequency stabilizes, your peace returns, your power comes back. Step 4. Speak your truth. This doesn't mean forcing your beliefs on others or trying to convince them of anything. It means living authentically, speaking authentically, being authentically you without apology or pretense. When you hide your light to make others comfortable, when you play small to fit in, when you silence your truth to avoid conflict, when you pretend to be less than you are, you betray your mission. You betray your soul. You dim the very light you came here to shine. Shine, even if it makes others uncomfortable. Especially if it makes others uncomfortable. Your light is meant to illuminate, not to hide in the shadows hoping no one notices. Some people will judge you, some will leave, some will mock you or dismiss you or think you're crazy. Let them. They're not your people. Your people will find you. Your tribe will recognize you. Your frequency will call them in. Step 5. Trust the process. This is the hardest but most important step of all. Trust that everything is unfolding perfectly, even when it doesn't look perfect, even when it feels chaotic, even when nothing makes sense, even when you feel alone, even when you're scared, even when you can't see the bigger picture. Trust that your soul knows exactly what it's doing. Trust that you volunteered for this exact experience before you incarnated. Trust that every challenge is preparation. Every difficulty is strengthening you. Every dark night is Perikles, necessary for the dawn. Trust that you're exactly where you're meant to be, always, in every moment, no matter how it feels. This trust is what carries you through. This trust is what allows you to surrender to the process instead of fighting it. This trust is what transforms suffering into growth. Let me share Dolores's most profound teaching, the one that changed everything for thousands upon thousands of people. She said, "The awakening is the realization that in essence we are light. We are love. Each cell of our body, each molecule of everything. The power source that runs all life is light." Do you understand what this means? Do you feel the weight and the beauty of this truth? You are not a human being trying to have a spiritual experience. You are an infinite spiritual being having a temporary human experience. You are not broken. You are not flawed. You are not damaged or less than or wrong. You are not here to fix yourself or prove yourself or improve yourself into something better. You're here to remember yourself, to remember your infinite nature, to remember your divine essence, to remember your true origin, to remember that you are Source itself in physical form. You are God experiencing itself through your eyes. You are consciousness, exploring what it's like to be human. Every single thing you're experiencing right now, the frequency ringing in your ears, the time distortions, the isolation, the synchronicities, the questions that won't stop, the memories flooding back, the sense that you're different, the knowing that something big is happening. All of it is your soul remembering its truth. All of it is you waking up from the dream, remembering who you were before you forgot, coming home to yourself.